Welcome to another bankrupting episode of Monday Movie Pickup. I know I say something like bankrupting, and then like in a couple of years, if I actually go bankrupt, everyone's just gonna share this clip as like a gotcha. You said it this far back as a joke, and then you actually will do it. Haha. Nah, I'm good with my money. Except when it comes to Criterion. Anyway, got a couple Criterions from the Barnes & Noble sale that they have every November and July. When they did it in July, I focused more on getting a lot of the Best Picture winners to finish my Best Picture collection, so I got all the ones that were available through Criterion at the time. There's a couple other releases this month that I want to get. This is Kane release and Uncut Gems. But for now, I kind of was like, there's a couple directors where their movies I've been interested in getting. I'm still trying to get all the Wes Anderson films as well, and that became a little more difficult because a lot of the movies that I wanted to get were already picked through. I went to the Barnes & Noble sale a little late, and even though it was just a couple days ago, if you don't go on the 1st, or right as the sale began, which is actually, it started in late October this year, I think it was October 30th exactly, or at least the 29th, basically everything was already picked through. So I had to kind of get the stuff that I was able to get, and here we go. So here is the Red Shoes. So this is one of those movies that I have heard a lot about as far as being considered one of the great classics, and I have yet to see it, know anything about it, and I thought this had a recent Blu-ray release, but I guess this has actually been available on Blu-ray for quite a while, so I haven't been paying attention. I didn't know there was a Criterion release of this film, so finally gonna check it out, see what all the hubbub is about. I also have here Rushmore. I've actually seen Rushmore before. It's a fine enough movie, and it's Wes Anderson. So this was the only Wes Anderson movie I was able to get. There's a couple other of his movies that I don't have yet. So I would have liked to have gotten some of the other ones that I haven't seen yet, but I've seen this movie before. I won't be popping it in too soon. Have another one here, Brian De Palma. So, Dressed to Kill. Brian De Palma is a very interesting filmmaker. He's made a lot of movies that, not ones that I often hear talked about, but really are amazing movies. Blowout especially. I bought that at the Criterion sale a couple years ago, and it was absolutely incredible. And here's another one that I've heard a lot of good things about, and I think this might be the only other Brian De Palma film available through the Criterion collection. I think I have all the other ones. I might have to double check that, but yeah, Dressed to Kill. I've heard things about it. I don't know if they're true, but I'm curious. I'm curious to see what that one's all about. Here is Joel and Ethan Coen's first film, Blood Simple, which, Joel and Ethan Coen, seeing that they're Minnesota natives, I probably should have seen all of their work by now. I do like the work of the Coen brothers. I'm trying to think of what maybe is my favorite film of theirs. I own a couple of their movies, and they're another filmmaker set that I am trying to complete. Blood Simple should be one of the only films that's available through the Criterion collection. I'd have to, again, double check that, but I do own a lot of their other movies. Oh Brother, Where Art Thou is probably my favorite of the bunch, to be honest. I like the music of that one. But I have been wanting to see Blood Simple for quite a while. We have His Girl Friday here. So I've started to see a lot of these kind of early comedies, especially the ones that have starred Cary Grant, but recently I watched Bringing Up Baby for the first time. I also watched The Philadelphia Story. So His Girl Friday was one that I kind of passed up on. I haven't gotten a chance to see it yet. And again, I didn't realize that this had a Criterion release, or at least a Criterion Blu-ray release. Saw it there. Like I said, a lot of the movies were already picked through, so this was not one that I would have gotten right away, but seeing that it was one of the ones available that was still at the store, I was like, well, why not? So Detour I've actually seen before. They showed it in the film class, and one of the things they were talking about was Edgar G. Ulmer, who was a director in Hollywood. He was blacklisted at one point, so he made this lower budget film, and this film is actually in the public domain. You can actually get it on any of those cheap Mill Creek box sets. Even the one that I'm doing for Conquering 200 Films, I don't know if you can see it in the background up there, but that big 200 film box set I have, Detour is in there. I would not categorize Detour as a horror film. No, they call it a horror box set. They say it's Tales of Terror, but I don't know if this is really a tale of terror either. But it's a very interesting film noir, early film noir that, like I said, we watched it in the film class. It was very good. and for a movie that I had never heard about. And then they did a Criterion release of it a couple years ago. I've kept passing up on it just because I've seen the movie before. You can watch this movie pretty much anywhere, but might as well see it in crystal clear 4K. Yeah, it's not 4K disc, but I mean 4K transfer. And then we have here, this is one of their newest releases, The Incredible Shrinking Man, which I don't really know much about this movie, but just with that title alone, I've heard this title a lot, and I do love me some 50s sci-fi, so it looks really awesome. And it's a movie that I've been kind of wanting to see for a long time, so when I heard that Criterion was doing a release of it this year, I mean, this only came out this year, I was very curious. So that was everything that I got in individual releases, and the reason I was kind of being a little particular about what I was going to buy was because I was actually doing a big purchase this time. I have other box sets. I have the Ingmar Bergman set, I have the Godzilla set, I have the Bruce Lee set. These are pricier sets that I like to get at the Barnes & Noble sale, because usually you can get them for half the price that Barnes & Noble lists them for, and in the end, sometimes you can get them for a little less than they are on the Criterion store, or at least you can get them without having to pay the shipping that would be necessary through the Criterion store. So I passed up on it for a while, but I finally gave in. I got the essential Fellini box set. And I was not going to get this. I was thinking of just passing it up for a while. Like I said, I'm still trying to get through the Bergman set, so I'm like, I don't even want to start getting into Fellini yet until I can kind of get through some of that Bergman set. But the reason that I had to buy this was because one of the films that are on here, La Dolce Vita, if I'm saying that correctly, La Dolce Vita was a film that was released individually through the Criterion Collection. However, that movie is now out of print. It no longer is available through the Criterion Collection. You go on the store, it's out of stock. So basically that movie you can't get anymore, and if you find it online, it's very expensive. That movie is actually getting released through Paramount very soon, and I'm wondering if it's going to be part of the Paramount Presents line, which is a line that I love. It is a movie that I probably will buy once it's available through the Paramount Presents line, if that's how they decide to release it. However, I really wanted to get the Criterion version of it, and I was like, that kind of sucks that I missed out on that movie because I've heard a lot of good things about it. It's a movie I've heard it's incredible. I heard it's one of Fellini's best. And then I realized if you buy this box set, you can actually still get that movie. It's the same version of the movie, from my understanding anyway. I mean, it might even have a different transfer on it, but has the same special features that were available through the other Criterion versions. So, yeah, you can still get La Dolce Vita through this box set, the Criterion version of it. So I was like, screw it, I want to get this set at some point, but if that movie went out of print, how long is it before this entire set goes out of print? And I mean, that was the reason I got the Bergman set. A lot of Bergman movies all on one set. Same with Godzilla. A lot of Godzilla movies all on one set. Same with Bruce Lee. All these movies on one set, and how long are they going to be available before it all goes out of print? So I decided not to risk it, and I was like, I'll get it. I'll get the Fellini box set. It's got this kind of cool dial on the back with all the films that are available in the set. This is almost his entire filmography, but there are a couple movies missing, and I'm not gonna be able to name them right now which ones are missing, but there's a couple of them missing. But I kind of like that back dial on there, because I guess in a way you could lay it down and spin something on top of it to pick your film. This was the printout that was on the back of the set, which they didn't put some sticky crap on it to stick to the back, and it can fit inside the box, which is kind of nice sometimes with these inserts. It doesn't always work out that way. And then this is the set itself. I'm sure a lot of you have already seen this set online before, but just showing you here. Here are all the discs. Everything is released individually. Everything gets its own disc. And then, yeah, super cool set. There's also a separate guide to the film, which I think is super cool, that they actually split up the booklets for discussing the films that are on each disc and for the actual essays about the film. So it's not just one big booklet where they list which movies are on which disc and then special features and then they're doing the essays. No, they actually separated them out, which is kind of nice. So that is everything with this set, and I will be digging into Fellini next. So more art house foreign directors for me to spend exuberant amounts of money on. That's alright. Like I said, I wasn't really planning on getting this one so soon, but I don't want to risk it. I don't know if this is going to be going out of print soon. Criterion never really notifies you if things are going out of print either. I mean, unless you're really careful with the Blu-ray forms. It's not like they have a page that shows everything that will be going out of print. It's not like Shout Factory. They're not really good at warning. I had no idea that La Dolce Vita went out of print. So, that was everything this week, and we will see you with the 99th episode next week. Thanks for watching the video, and special shout out to Lauren, Anthony, Anna, Kirsten, Spencer, Lucas, Ryan, and Robert for supporting me on Patreon. By joining my Patreon, you can get exclusive blogs and videos, and for just $7, you can get your own monthly movie review. I hope you stick around, Cinephile, and have a happy, productive day.